What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Well, the word is that the charges against Alec Baldwin in the shooting of his cinematographer on the movie set of Rust, those charges of involuntary manslaughter have been dropped without prejudice, meaning that at any point the prosecution can charge him again. They can bring charges back against Mr. Baldwin. So charges were dismissed without prejudice because new facts were revealed, and I guess the DA's office felt like they needed time to investigate this new information. And the investigation is still ongoing. He is not 100% off the hook because, like I said before, at the conclusion of their investigation, they may decide to bring charges against him again. Now, the involuntary manslaughter charges against the weapons supervisor on the set of Rust, her name, I forgot her first name, but her last name is Gutierrez Reed. The charges against her still stand. She is still being prosecuted. That is still moving forward. But her attorneys also feel as if the charges against her will be dropped as well if they were dropped against Alec Baldwin. So the decision, like I said, does not necessarily absolve Mr. Baldwin of any criminal culpability, and charges may be refiled at a later date. Now, what shocks me is that they're continuing with this damn movie. That is what absolutely blows my mind. So they must believe that the notoriety surrounding this case, the notoriety that was built on the death of this woman, halynahutchins, they must believe that this notoriety is going to bring people to see this movie. And I really hope and pray that it doesn't, simply because of the fact that a woman lost her life on the set of this movie based on other people's negligence. I really want to say stupidity, but based on other people's negligence, a woman lost her life. Now, mistakes happen. They happen all the time. But this is a movie set where we're supposed to be playing with toys. And these toys are not supposed to be loaded with real bullets. And how this can happen is just beyond, because I feel like people are just kind of like looking over the fact that someone somehow allowed real bullets on the set of a movie that is centered around guns and shooting. That just blows my mind. And how this happened, how these real bullets showed up on the set, I don't know. I don't know if these guns were bought and nobody checked the chambers of these guns to see if there were live bullets in it, or if these bullets were placed in. To me, that mystery needs to be solved. We cannot just gloss over that, and how someone can bring real bullets to the set. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I was personally disappointed when the charges were dropped against Alec Baldwin, because as a producer, because he calls himself a producer of this movie, as a producer of this movie, safety should have been number one. And before you start pointing guns at people and start shooting and pulling triggers, well, he says he didn't pull the trigger. He cocked it, but he didn't pull the trigger. His defense is that the gun was so messed up. It was malfunctioned to the point where the trigger was just, pulling itself or just going off itself. He didn't pull the trigger. The gun went off itself. He wasn't the one responsible to make sure that the bullets were not live bullets. So that's his defense. But anyways, I was disappointed when the charges were dropped against him, because as a producer, I think you still have a high responsibility to make sure that the guns that you're holding and shooting and pointing at people are safe. Are absolute. Anyways, I don't want to sound like a broken record, because I've made 2 videos about Alec Baldwin already, and I just feel like I'm repeating myself. So these charges have been dropped. I have a very strong suspicion that they're not going to refile these charges, and I also have a strong suspicion that the charges against the weapons supervisor, Miss Gutierrez Reed, I have a feeling that those charges will be dropped as well, because I think they're just going to see this as one horrible accident. I think that the DA's office feel like, that Alec Baldwin and his legal team are going to be able to sway the jury to have a little bit of, because all you need is reasonable doubt, and maybe you only need is one juror to have that reasonable doubt. And so they believe that there's just too many gray areas in this case for them to move forward. That's another disappointing thing, is that you would think that the prosecutor, before bringing charges against a prominent, well-known Hollywood figure, that they would have gone over everything with a fine-tooth comb, instead of bringing charges against this man who has proclaimed his innocence since day one, bringing charges against this well-known person, and then having to backtrack, talking about, oh, we're still looking into it. We'll get back with you. We'll get back with you later, and let you know if we're going to be filing charges again or not. It just looks so sloppy and so messy and just like absolutely misguided. So I don't know what the hell's going on in the DA's office over there in Santa Fe. Because if you're going to bring charges against him for killing a woman and you're charging him with involuntary manslaughter, I'm thinking that y'all have done all the investigation that could possibly done under the sun. His attorney said exactly that. His attorney said, this case has been investigated to death. We have looked at every piece of evidence. We have talked to every possible witness. We, meaning them, the DA, everything has been looked at over and over and over again. So if they're dropping charges now, that means they have no case. They have no case. And I just think that the probability of reasonable doubt is extremely high, because, I mean, no one's going to believe that Alec Baldwin, an experienced actor who's been on I don't know how many movie sets, who's produced, directed, starred in so many movies, I don't think a jury is going to believe that he was that careless. They're going to probably believe that he didn't know it was a live round. It was the weapons supervisor, that it was her responsibility to make sure that only fake bullets were used, and that there's a probability that Alec Baldwin was correct when he said that the trigger went off by itself. The gun was a certain type of gun. Look, I don't know. I thought the gun was like an older gun, maybe it's sort of like an antique gun. Maybe you have the possibility that the trigger could have gone off by itself. So the prosecution probably realizes that, yeah, this is a very weak case, because not only did they drop the case, but before that, they have filed multiple charges against Alec Baldwin, and like slowly the other charges were dropping off. They were taking them off, picking them off, until the only thing left was involuntary manslaughter. Now that's picked off. So as they're going along, getting ready for trial, I think they're realizing, yeah, this is not a slam dunk case. But unfortunately, a woman lost her life. Unfortunately, a woman lost her life because of other people's negligence and carelessness. And I know that when an accident happens, you can't, it wasn't on purpose, it was just an accident, but still, a woman lost her damn life, and it's like nothing is going to come of it. And whatever money that he paid or will end up paying, it's going to be nothing to Alec Baldwin. And it's just really sad. I don't know what to say. It's just extremely sad, because I don't know if this is similar. It may not be. I'm probably comparing apples to oranges, but like when a parent allows their child to be around a gun, and the child picks up the gun and ends up, shooting someone, that parent is charged and they go through with it. The district attorney, prosecutor's office, they will go through with these charges because they were negligent. This is not the same exact thing, because we're dealing with grown adults who all should have known better. So it's kind of even more mind-boggling that, he's going to walk away from this. But it's like, you can't have live rounds on a movie set where people are going to be pointing. I don't understand what the difference is, like why someone cannot be held criminally responsible for this. Because if a parent can be held criminally responsible for their child picking up a gun and hurting themselves or someone else, why couldn't somebody on this movie set be held criminally responsible as well? I don't know. I'm not saying that Alec Baldwin or Miss Gutierrez Reed should spend the rest of their lives in jail. I don't think they should do more than 5 years, but they got to do something. This woman hopefully did not die in vain. People can make such, stupid, careless mistakes and kill someone. And it's just kind of like, oh, well, it was a mistake. Let's go on. Let's move on with the rest of this film, completing this film. And who is going to want to watch this movie other than out of morbid curiosity? Who wants to see an aging Alec Baldwin in some West? Anyways, I don't know. And then after these charges were dismissed, him and his weird wife post a very weird picture on their social media of Alec Baldwin cradling his wife like a newborn babe in his lap. What the hell is going on? That picture was so weird and bizarre to me. And it's like, can the Baldwins give us a break? Okay, can y'all please give us a break? Okay, y'all inundated us with his weird wife and her, faking the Spanish accent, claiming that she's European when she's not, saying that she's Spanish, she was born in Spain, but she isn't. She was born, I don't know where, in Connecticut or something. Living half of her life with a fake accent. Okay, people were just kind of like, okay, whatever. Then we got to deal with them and having this like gaggle of children, and the strangeness of her giving birth to a child, and then like a month later another child was born into the family. But I think there was like no explanation as far as like, how do you have two newborns at the same time? Where did this other baby come from? And it didn't come from his wife's body. And it was just very strange. And now we had to deal with the whole Rust situation and this accidental shooting of this innocent woman. Also the shooting of his director, who ended up in the hospital with serious injuries, but thank God he made it through. Going through this whole Rust situation with Alec Baldwin. Now, as soon as the charges are dropped, they can't wait to get back on social media and expose their weirdness to us. Can we please get a breather? Alec Baldwin, did you really have to post that picture of you cradling your wife like a newborn babe? Did we really need to see that? Can you please give us a short break before we're exposed to more Baldwin weirdness? The funny thing is, I've always liked Alec Baldwin. I liked him on Third Rock from the Sun. I thought he was funny on that show. I've loved his voice. I've always liked Alec Baldwin until I found out about his wife. And then I got really angry with this whole Rust situation. Now I'm looking at him completely sideways. I don't think I'll ever see Alec Baldwin the same again. And the fact that he is 185 years old and he's still producing children, it's his prerogative. He's got the money to do it. Good for him. Okay, good for him. But when will this end? Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it on your way out. Please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.